Oh, I should have just started with me drinking the water. Anyways, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Zoo and Co show. I'm Zaiyou, and back in my company today, we've got Cassidy. We've got a new face, Hazel. Not gonna introduce her right now because it's a surprise. Uh, yeah, if you want to know why Hazel is vertical, it's because she just looks better that way. It's just a better angle for her. We looked at a couple
Honestly,
options.
I'll probably go vertical too. Might
Yeah,
be
we're
better.
all
Might be
considering going
better.
vertical right now because we think it looks pretty good. And yeah, tech issues. So today, I'm not going to spoil the topic. It's the first day in a short mini series that I'm going to be doing with Cass, which is about things during COVID. So today will be something during COVID. And then the following maybe 2 or 3 episodes will be us talking, maybe just with each other, maybe with guests about things like, school, work, relationships, like stuff like that, specifically during COVID. Um, we were originally not going to start with today's topic. We're going to start with maybe school or something. But then we realized that the wonderful Hazel is available, and we wanted to include her in this lovely, lovely discussion because she's got a lot of stories to share.
I
So
just want tea.
yeah, so we're gonna just
I'm
uh
kidding.
just
I'm
just
kidding.
spill the tea all over the place today. Is what we're gonna be doing. I think that's it. We can probably dive into it. I'll let Hazel, I guess, introduce herself a little bit, and then we'll spoil the topic. We'll talk about how we want to intro it, and then let the discussion do its thing. Yeah,
No.
Hazel,
Yeah.
tell us about yourself.
I was watching a video about how to do this in interviews, and they were like, don't talk about your family, don't talk about your school, don't talk about your personal life, just talk about experience. But,
Well,
um,
Uh,
oh,
Thankfully, it's
no,
not an
okay,
yes.
okay,
interview.
okay. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm Hazel. Hello. I love this podcast. It's been very fun to watch it. So I was happy to come on when Zayu invited me. And yeah, I like art. I'm into clothes. I love color, as you
Mm,
see. And
true.
yeah.
What are your top three underrated colors?
Ooh, underrated colors. I'd say like the colors that are almost black but not black, like
The
very
dusty
dark
black.
navy,
Dusty black.
very dark
Mm,
like yeah,
Yes,
like
yes.
very dark greens, very dark grays. Like I feel like in photos they just turn out black, but in person you can actually see the color.
mm.
So
See, I knew she'd have an
yeah.
answer for
I
it.
agree. I agree.
I think I'm gonna work that into my intros. Just ask any guests like a really niche and dumb question, like the Skittles one. That one was
If
fantastic.
you if you had to be a vegetable, which one would you be?
I would be a leek just because um green onions I feel like are a little bit too intense and they're also smaller, but leeks are just bigger version, but their taste is a little bit more subtle. Like if that makes sense.
I love how she had an answer right
Yeah, because like
away.
no, I was putting up green onion for like my breakfast this morning, and I was like, I don't want to be a leek. I feel like green onions are just too intense,
See,
but small. I'd
I'm
like to
I'm
be
I'm
big,
not
but
I'm not
not.
all too surprised that you had an answer for that, but I'm extremely confused as to why your immediate argument was I don't want to be a green onion because the flavor is too intense, as if those were the only two options that you had available, and you had to just convince yourself that a leek was better than green onion.
I don't know. It's like it just makes sense to me. I can't explain it. It's just like I love making leek and potato soup. You know that like ratatouille
Yes,
recipe? Like
yes,
that?
yeah, I do
Uh-huh.
Ooh,
love
that
leek and
sounds so
potato.
good.
You don't put green onions in there. You put leek because it's subtler and it's like
This is true.
tastes like I don't know, it's different. Yeah.
This is true.
I
Mhm.
don't
Mhm.
have an answer for what vegetable I would be.
Me neither.
I feel
Okay, would you
um
rather be adult spinach or baby spinach?
is there a difference?
Never thought
I've
about
never thought
that.
about that. I've never thought about that. Damn. Some deep
Would
questions.
you rather be in the Popeyes bag or in the spring mix box?
Oh,
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Five?
String
Just
mix bag
me.
is like a
Just
variety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Or
Popeyes
would you
is-
rather be part of the in crowd in the Popeyes bag? No, I'm saying.
Ooh. I think like the association with Popeyes.
I don't know
Right?
what you're
Yeah, the
Actually, no.
saying.
association.
Actually, you know what? You know what? The chicken, Popeyes chicken is dry. Maybe not. Maybe not Popeyes. Not the association.
Whoa.
What are these two going on about?
This is our topic for
I've never
today.
had
You know
something
what?
derailed
You know
so
what?
fast. World record
Talking to two
speed run.
creatives, that's why.
That's
That's
true.
why.
That's fair. World record speed run derailing the Zoo and Co show. All right. For some time, I guess. I would be a
Answer in the comments, please.
answer. Yeah, get the engagements up. Help the YouTube algorithm. Put down in the comments what vegetable
Super
would
super
you be.
omnom one. We're counting on you.
Super Omnom 1, drop a
God.
comment, drop 2 comments, drop 3 comments, top 3 vegetables you would like to be. Thank you.
Hey, for the 20th episode, can we face reveal you? Super omnom one.
What
Yeah.
are we talking about?
Alright,
Okay,
so
so-
Hazel, there's this, the legend of Super Omnom 1, who is a person who comments on all of my videos, not just this podcast. We're talking videos like videos I have on other YouTube accounts, videos on like unlisted videos, right? Every single video. So I know that surely they must follow me on like my private Instagram or like have me on Facebook or something, because you know Zoo and Co show is public, but there's a lot of other stuff that I just post for friends and
AKA,
stuff.
they must be a friend.
Yeah, surely it has to be someone
Yeah.
we know. But this person is just named Super Omnom1 and they comment on everything. And they're like our number one fan, but we don't know who it is.
Yes.
Yo, bring them on. Bring them on. Video camera doesn't have to be on. Just bring
I
them on.
I thought it was my
Like,
sister
voice-
and she said it wasn't her. So now I literally thought it was my own sister and I messaged her and she was like, "What? No. You know my YouTube account." And I was like, "Oh,
Should.
the mystery of Super Omnom1 face reveal 20
20th episode.
episode." All right, well, let's get started. So today we're talking about dating during COVID,
Yes.
and we have a good range of experiences between the three of us. We've brought Hazel on because I'll let her explain her, current situation. We'll obviously delve into the stories very shortly, but she's we'll say she's browsing, she's perusing through what's available in the Vancouver
She's surfing.
area.
She's
She's surfing. So single, ready to mingle. I'm in a relationship and I'm living with them, so that's quite a different dynamic, during COVID specifically. And we can, all three of us can talk about kind of friends that we have or stories we've heard of people who are dating but perhaps not living together, right? And how that's been impacted when you're in a relationship and you kind of want to be going out or think you should be going out, but obviously there's COVID restrictions and stuff like that. This is the first episode that Cass is actually going to be moderating and hosting because you guys want that. And you
I don't know
always
about
message-
moderating, but more just like me making just bad comments.
Yep. That's what we.
That's
the
how it
good
goes.
stuff we bring her in for. So I think I'll start just because I think Hazel's will be a lot more fun. So I'll just get mine out of the way. I am in a relationship. I live with my partner, and we moved in together about halfway now into quarantine because it was last.
Oh.
I don't want to do the math. I don't want to count the months during COVID. That's just sad. We didn't have a lot of experience like living together beforehand. Obviously, like I didn't stay over for too long, except for I think a period of maybe 3 or so weeks when I lived with her just during like the start of quarantine because we missed each other and there was no school, and so why not? It's been pretty good, smooth sailing. We can talk a little bit more about that later in terms of like challenges that we faced or the goods and the bads of that, but I will let Hazel start. Yeah, she's excited about this one.
I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
ready.
So oddly enough, so yeah, in high school I never dated. I had crushes, of course, but I was too focused on like school and my extracurriculars,
As you
alti,
should.
professional.
As
Yeah, good
you
choice.
should.
As I
Yeah,
As
as
you
I
should.
should,
as
as
she
I
Yeah.
should.
should, and sprinkle in like a little bit of mental health, and then there you go. I had my
Mm.
mind occupied. So,
Nice.
I didn't date anyone until my prom date asked me out, and he had
Oh.
apparently had liked me since grade 10, but didn't decide to say anything
Oh.
You
until
like
grade
that?
12. And it was
Alright.
funny though, because okay, do you want me to talk about that, or do you want me to talk about like Bumble and stuff like that? Or like should I just
I don't
Talk about
know.
whatever. Talk
I,
Okay,
about whatever you
I was
want.
expecting
There you
Bumble,
go.
but I kind of want to hear about your prom date. So like, maybe,
Okay,
maybe.
so like he it was weird though, because we were on the bus going to Michael's, and I wanted to make my own corsage, so I brought him along with me, and I was like, so, like on the 99 bus, I just turned to him, full bus. I was like, so why'd you ask me out to prom? And he was like, I think you already know. And I was like, no, tell me. On a full ass bus, like I wanted this guy to, because I had the feeling that he liked me, and I wanted him to like say it.
But what?
So he like
Oh, this girl persistent.
Well, like he
This girl
said this to me.
persistent.
He was like, I was in mini school with you, I liked you for a bit, etc., etc., etc. After the like 5 minutes of talking, and then he says, and then I found out I liked you, and I was like,
But why'd you do that to
okay,
him on the
alright,
99?
alright. I know, I feel so bad.
For people
But, like,
listening. For
yeah,
people.
I did that on the bus. And like he had to say, he was like, and I found out I also liked you. And I was like, ha! Nice.
That's crazy.
Bro, the 99 bus ain't even the cleanest one. Come on,
No.
Yeah,
man.
I know. Anyways, so like we got materials for the corsage, went back home, and then I was like finicking around with it, and then he was like, so, like, do you want to hang out like next week or something like that? And I was like, yeah, of course I want to hang out like sometime next week. Like, I won't lie, the amount of, because I had been so insecure for all of high school, so like the ego boost to have someone like me throughout high school, I was like, you
Yeah.
liked me in grade 9 when I was wearing flannels all day, big ass shirts. Really? I don't understand. Braces?
Any
Really?
shirt was big
Yeah.
on you in
And-
grade 9, but continue.
Oh my god, the Trout Lake incident. Hazel, are you wearing pants? Anyway.
Okay, we don't have to. We don't, that's
Anyway.
we don't have to go into that one. I don't want to explain the context behind that.
Dude, I don't get, like, some people who weren't there comment that on my
Yeah.
like post like way back when, and I was like,
Yeah, it's just weird if they say it like this.
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know how much to get into this, but like we basically like went out. I can like go into detail on specifics later, but like we went out for a month, and by the end of the month, I remember feeling like there's something about this that I'm not really like digging. I'm not really too sure what it is, but I'm gonna go with my instinct and say this is not gonna work out. So and like I went to friends of mine, and they were like, are you sure? Is that the right thing to do? Because like I remember when I would say the specific things, like the very niche specific things about why I don't think the vibe would work out, like people were like, oh, you're being nitpicky, like give him another month or so. And I was like, no. I've been always very grounded in my decision, so
Ooh.
cut it. Cut it
Okay,
right now.
no.
We're not gonna do this.
No, that's
And
like good for
yeah.
you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
like you know yourself
Oh.
best, you know? Like you
Yeah,
don't need anybody.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think one of the things I really want to talk about with you guys is like setting boundaries when we first start a relationship, because like the rule that I had was was like, okay,
Damn.
Biggie, no like physical intimacy, just like no hand holding, no kissing. There's the obvious one that I wanted to avoid, of course, but it's just like, I don't know, because I knew for a fact that like if I had immediately like gone for the physical intimacy and stuff like that, like even holding hands, Like I feel like I would be more attracted to that and the person wouldn't matter. Like does that make
Yes,
sense?
yes, you'd be
Like
more
I
attracted to
feel
the
like
idea than the person. Or like,
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, because like for the I like having romance animes in my blood. I knew the moment that bitch like grabbed my hand and pulled me back or like Abe done me onto the wall. Like
We
I would
already
have
know
been
Hazel's standards
sold.
are way too high just because
Okay,
of the
okay.
rom-com.
Yeah, I was like, I knew for a fact I sold. So take me. Like yeah. So I cut it off with him.
No, no, I think like to some people that'll definitely sound like crazy, but
Yeah,
I think it's really cool because you were in grade 12 at this time, right?
yeah,
Like 18, yeah, like it's really cool that you knew yourself that much to make those boundaries, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, and I think it's also really good that you knew that you are somebody who's easy to fall into the idea of someone rather than who they are. And I
yeah.
think that's something that people don't really notice until it's too far gone sometimes.
Hmm.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so like I think you were just like, even though it might have hurt for him, you were also saving time for both of you, you know, like you weren't wasting each other's time or you weren't
Yeah,
wasting his time, you know what I mean? So like I think like even if people think that's ridiculous, I think like I I fully disagree and being like no, like good on you for doing that cuz yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll comment on it, and then we'll let Hazel go, and then like if we want to talk about like the whole setting boundaries at the start of a relationship thing, then we can go into that as well. I think the fact that your friends like were kind of telling you, "Oh, just give it another month" or something like that. Yes, number one, I like agree with Cassidy that I think it was great on you that you like made the decision for yourself because you knew what would be best for yourself. But I think at that age, it's just difficult to you everyone simply lacks the maturity to understand that there's not always one right way to view an issue, right? When you I
Mm,
think the older you get, assuming you're in mature relationships with mature people, which is a big if, we've all seen like
Especially at that age.
yeah, well, yeah,
Yes.
we've all seen like Reddit posts about like disastrous relationships, and you're like, how could anyone possibly, treat a partner like that? But assuming you're with mature people, most adults hopefully would be comfortable with boundaries that their partners have set for themselves, right? Or at least you can
yeah,
discuss that, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but there's no hard feelings because you know that you simply have a difference of opinions, a difference of what you're comfortable with. But at a younger age, your friends are simply like, you're not going to hold hands with your boyfriend. That's crazy. Like, how could you, that's an integral part of the relationship. Like, that's literally the
yeah,
only thing that you
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how could you not have that? And there's they lack that like maturity to realize, personal boundaries are important. People have different personal boundaries, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't necessarily mean it's either party's fault, but simply something that doesn't work between them, right? It's not because you had standards that were too high, they had standards that were too high, you had rules, they had rules, like whatever. It's something between the two of you didn't work out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I would still, yeah, I congratulate you, I guess, for sticking up for your own beliefs and knowing that you knew what was best for yourself, because I think that's pretty difficult at that
Mhm,
age as well.
Yeah, and I think
mhm.
like sorry, like a more general
Yeah, go.
comment, I guess. Um, like, you know, when you are that age and even now, like it's hard when everybody in your group or vicinity is telling you like, hey, like what's wrong with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like at the same time, it's like again, you know yourself best. So like you can't try to explain and clarify what you feel to people who aren't willing to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
it's like that's why it's so important for anybody to know who they are before they even get into a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
know like we've all heard that so many times, but it's like it's because it's true, right? So
Mhm.
yeah.
I think like one of the biggest um so when like I broke it off with him, like I gave him his piece to talk about like stuff and stuff like that. And he said like, you know what? I think this is okay because we technically didn't. And I was like, yeah, yeah. It's like for me, physical touch is definitely one of my five love languages. We could definitely talk about that. I think that's such an interesting
Ooh,
topic. Like,
yeah, sure.
it's like if you, because like I've been like very big on touch in high school. Like, if I didn't know you and you'd like come up and like hug me, I'd be like, oh no, what is happening? Shit. Like, I
I remember that
hated
actually.
people who would just like invade my space and like try to
I'm the
connect
same
with
way,
me
yeah.
like forcefully, if that makes sense. Like, I definitely think physical touch, like in any kind of sense, is like there's definitely some consent I'd like in it. Like, even like I would want them to ask me like, oh, can I hold your hand?
Mm-hmm.
Can I kiss you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is something like I would need in just getting to know someone for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's nothing to be ashamed about, first of all. That's also
Oh, for sure.
something
Yeah,
that's
I
like,
don't feel ashamed of it at all because
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
the
All right, we've
That's just
got
who you
two
are. And like
options.
if
No. I'll let you finish first. Finish your thought.
okay, like I lost it. The train went off the
okay.
rails.
Keep
I
going.
don't
Keep
remember.
going. Just keep going. Keep going. You got it.
um
You got it.
the right person will understand. Yes, that is what I want to say.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a more eloquent way of saying it, but no,
Yeah,
no.
I do have a knack
Right, the
for
train
killing
is now
Cassidy's
back on the
thoughts.
tracks.
I'm quite
Yeah.
good at that.
Yes, yes.
Do you guys want do you guys want to talk about like your first really like dating, first time dating someone, like, that experience? I think like you both might something cool to talk about.
Ooh, it's a mystery. Yeah.
Or
Okay.
if
Oh,
you're
wait, no. We
comfortable,
have
if
three
you're
options.
comfortable.
We have three options.
Yeah.
God, we're branching off into so many directions. We're gonna have so many episodes with this trio here. So, one is love languages. One is setting boundaries
Yeah.
at the start of your relationship, and then or the third one is like just more generally talking about your first relationships and your
Yeah.
experiences there. What do we feel like we're headed towards?
Uh, I mean, I personally want to hear like
Hmm.
what you guys did, just because it's interesting. And again, if you don't feel comfortable,
No.
let's move
I
on.
feel
Love
comfortable.
languages, we
Just
can also choose that.
it's just a fun story.
Okay.
Hmm. Up to you guys. It's up to you guys.
All right. I'm gonna make a decision here with rationale that I can't. I'm gonna keep to myself. I'll tell you guys after the show. All right. I know for a fact we're gonna go way off the rails if we just talk in non-specifics about our first relationships. So let's narrow it down a little bit more and do something similar with like setting boundaries at the start of every relationship.
Mm.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
that's something I think someone listening will be curious as to how our opinions differ, right? Because experiences, I feel like experiences with your first relationships, they're always like fun stories, but you know that you don't have a ton of control over it because it was your first relationship and you just things happen and you kind of look back and you're
Like
like,
how the
oh,
heck are you
yeah,
supposed to know, you
yeah.
know?
You just look
Yeah.
back and you're like, I see how that was poorly handled by both sides. But for like setting boundaries, those are conscious choices that you're making, right? At least at this age, if you've had one or two relationships, or you know what you want in a relationship, if you haven't. Anyone want to start? I mean, Hazel's given us, teased
Yeah.
us a little bit with some foreshadowing there, but we don't have to get her to talk first every single time.
Hmm. I have
Boundaries
something
at the
to
start of a
say.
relationship. Yeah, all right,
I have
Cass,
something to say.
Yeah,
give it
go
to us.
Okay. Not a story, but it's like, well, the type of person I am is like I'm not like I don't really date around. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
just yeah. Um, so you should or one should not be afraid to communicate their boundaries
Mm-hmm.
because obviously like you are your own being. You need to have your own self-respect, right? Like
Yeah.
Yep.
don't just try to like please somebody because that's not what to me that's not what a relationship is, right?
Hmm.
Like for me it's like it's two people living their own lives but together,
Yep.
not two people
Yeah.
becoming
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
Yeah, so like in that regard, like you know, you are your own person, respect yourself as well as the other person. So that's the first thing. The second one is that like it quickly like you communicating your boundaries is also a really quick filter. Like if somebody is scared
Mm-hmm.
because of your boundaries and stuff like that, then you already know like, oh, I would have been wasting my time with this person, or like
Sure.
this person isn't ready. Let's,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you're gaining information right away just
Yep.
by doing that,
Yep.
and like it can be scary, but like with the right person, it won't be. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I think.
I
Yeah.
I would tend to
Mhm.
agree. I think one thing that I absolutely look for at the start of a relationship is allowing me to be an individual instead of like big red flag is someone instantly asking or trying to get you to change. First of all, why would you do that at the start of a relationship? Why even start the relationship if you don't like the way that someone is and want them to change
Oh,
like right at the very beginning? That doesn't make a ton of sense. But I think anyone who tries to pressure you into becoming someone different, uh, I mean, even later on in the relationship, but there's other factors influencing that. If you've lived together and you can, you know the person better, and you know that there's some things that might lead to healthier living habits. It might lead to better emotional maturity or mental health or stuff like that. You can offer suggestions, but at the start of a relationship, when you don't know someone on that intimate level, um, like you don't know their background with how they view certain issues, their emotional maturity, their mental health, like stuff like that. Getting them to change
mm-hmm.
is just a big, I guess, red flag, because you're getting them to change without even knowing who they are first, or what they're changing
Mhm.
from first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and an extension of that is also like someone who expects like a lot of time to be poured into the relationship just because the relationship exists. I think is not objectively a bad thing or wrong, but can often be suffocating at the very start of a relationship, right? If I'm a person who's leading my own life, especially if you're in high school or something like that, and you have a bajillion extracurriculars going on, and you're trying to focus really hard on grades and stuff like that, and suddenly you have a partner who's like, "Hey, you should be giving me more attention," um, because we're in a relationship now. Well, how is that different than 4 days ago before we made it official? Now we're dating. It doesn't make a lot of sense that either one of us would have, or both of us would have to sacrifice a lot of our previous lives when it comes to extracurriculars, academic success, and stuff like that, just because now we've put a label on our high school relationship, right?
Yeah. I think like on topic, off topic. Okay, I'm gonna try not to go off topic, but the boundaries that I have like set for myself kind of coincide with like my relationship with parents. Don't call me out on the Oedipus complex, because no, that's not what that is. It's not what that is. They've taught me love. They've taught me how I want to receive love. So
Absolutely.
like for they've like shown me this fantastic example, and I'm not gonna let up on that if I were to get a partner, because it's um like my parents give me a lot of space. They give me a lot of like freedom to do what I want. If my room door is closed, they're not gonna come in. I
Mm-hmm.
can just do my art. I can like do my outfits, no problem. If I were to get into a relationship with someone and they would barge the fuck in, no knocking, no asking, I would not stand for that. No. That's just common etiquette. And it's like that's just one of the examples, like, or boundaries that I've learned to keep with me
Mm.
going into like relationships, because like that's what the respect that they have shown is what I want to continue, because they're the only form of like true love that I understand and that I want. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch it up here a little bit. This see, it
Okay.
feels like I'm cutting this short, and I hate it. But number one, I realize we're half an hour in, and we haven't actually talked about COVID during dating. But number two, I have time flies when you're having fun, Hazel. That's how we
So
do on this
funny.
podcast. But I
We
have I have
haven't
a, I
talked
have
to.
a good
Okay.
segue. I have a good segue. I promise, it's a good segue. I've already forgotten what the segue is because I had this little transition. Um,
Oh, is it? Let me guess.
guess.
How our childhoods form
Have molded
us.
our. Yeah.
Similar, yes, but
Okay, okay.
more towards dating during COVID, because my experience now is I'm living with my girlfriend, and obviously that means that we do everything together on a day-to-day basis because we're sure as hell not going outside to do anything, right? So a lot of those habits, right, from your upbringing, what your parents imparted on you as important points of etiquette or stuff like that, we are now learning about each other, and that has been quite the experience because the two of us are both very like open-minded and understanding, so we haven't been like really fighting or anything like that. It's been going well, but there's a lot of things that just noticeably not necessarily annoys or frustrates, but gets on the nerves of one or the other person because that's not the environment that they grew up in. They could be larger issues, they could be tiny issues, right? Something really funny, right, small but genuinely like has been a topic of conversation is her hair gets everywhere. She has no like brothers in her family, so she has a sister, and so they've always had hair everywhere. that's just how it be. And I'm very clean when it comes to like, not that she's messy obviously, but like I'm very clean when it comes to like, there's a stain on my desk, let me rub this off right now, right? Like I can't stand these like coffee stains, I can't stand like dust on my like desktop, like stuff like that. So it doesn't affect my life per se in any way, but every day or every other day I'll vacuum all the hair in the apartment, and it'll be like, can you like help me out with this, or can you like stop shedding like a cat, or those are things that you can't really learn about someone before you start living together, right? They could joke about like, oh yeah, my hair gets everywhere, but you don't understand what that feels like being with them 24/7 until you live with them. And the reason I bring this up is because I actually want to challenge what Hazel was talking about with like, oh, that's common etiquette not to like barge in and stuff like that. I would tend to agree, as in that's what I want. I would hate someone to barge in right now while I'm recording, right? But I wouldn't call it common etiquette because I know that there's a lot of people that's their family dynamic. God, I would hate it living in a family like that, but that's simply how it is, right? So they might not recognize that if they're in a relationship and living with someone, quarantine with them, stuck at home all day, every day, that it's annoying to open the door without knocking, right? And it's small stuff like that I don't want to say like drives wedges in relationships because that's really dramatic, but like it's small stuff like that you don't notice until you're in a long-term relationship and like living with someone, and then suddenly you start picking up on them like all at once because you're like, oh, what the heck, like I actually don't like the way that they never turn on the fan above the oven when they're above the stove when they're cooking or something like that. Oh, the smell gets everywhere, right? Oh, I actually just I hate that when they wash the clothes, they use too much laundry detergent. Like they never read it, they just like pour the whole thing in and it smells super terrible the whole day. Like it's tiny details that you couldn't possibly have accounted for that you start learning about when you're living together.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I kind of failed to realize, like, yeah, I've been living with my parents for all my life. Of course, we've like learned to live with each other. But yeah, it's like, I guess the new way I would look at that is like, if you do learn that I don't want you to barge into my room, to respect that and like to learn a little bit. Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense. Common etiquette, yeah, I think it wouldn't be now that you bring up that point.
Well, it's just wording. It's just wording. That's all.
Yeah, that's just wording.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to think about how like the way that you were brought up can be completely different than the way that someone else was brought up. I mean, that's obvious, but you will never learn that until you're forced to be in the same space for like an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that you don't see. Like, why would you? Right? When I meet someone and get to know them, I learn about their personality, right? Like things that their interests, stuff like that. I'm not going to learn about their showering habits or at what time like how long they spend on their phone before they go to sleep, right? But that's all stuff that affects your lives together if you were living together, right? If someone takes hour-long showers, like every time you're trying to get ready for bed, you have to like literally adjust your schedule to be like, okay, I need to get in and out before they get in and out, or I'm going to be sleeping late because they hopped in the shower and it's going to be 60 minutes until I get to get my turn, right? Or if they spend an hour on Instagram before they go to bed. These are not personal examples. I would like to throw that out
Call
there.
her out.
Yeah. But if you spend if you spend like an hour on Instagram before you go to sleep or something like that also has an effect on someone if they're sharing a bed with you, right? Like okay, we say we're going to sleep at midnight, but actually you're going to sleep at 1 a.m. because you're going to be on your phone, and I won't be able to sleep either because you have your phone on maximum brightness in the middle of the night. It's tiny details like that how could you ever have accounted for? Because no one thinks that no one thinks that these are important, like noticeable parts of their personality or character until you share it with someone else and they realize that it's very different from their own habits or experiences. That's my 2
Like
cents.
also, and also like no matter how much you think you know yourself, you're not going to realize everything, right? So
Great call.
yeah, that is my half a cent.
I'm terrified of that. I'm just like, I think I know myself pretty well, but then like, ooh, I've heard in the like stories of my best friend, she's like, yeah, I know a bunch of my like personal flaws have been picked out by my boyfriend, and I'm like, damn, okay.
Well, here's the thing, like that does sound scary, but it's like if you're with the right person and you have the right dynamic, it's not going to be an attack. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like it'll
yeah.
be it'll be um dealt with in a way that is like constructive criticism, right? This is kind of off topic but not really, but like something that I learned, not being in a relationship but just in general communication with like friends or whatnot, is that you can always talk about confrontation without it being confrontational.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, you can talk about anything and it never has to be an argument.
Yeah.
Ever. It's always about how you word things, right?
Yeah.
Which is something that we just briefly talked about just now, right? Like I think no matter who you're with, right, you're always going to have differences, right? And that's why it's so important to, I think, focus on how to word things. That makes sense, because honestly, that could probably make and break like your friendships, your relationships, professional relationships, stuff like that.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could spend like literally an entire episode talking about that, like, communication skills within a relationship, because it absolutely makes or breaks it. If you frame every discussion as an argument, it's an argument because that's what you made it to be. If you frame every disagreement as a disagreement and an issue that the two of you need to solve together, completely changes the dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah. So like bringing it back to Hazel being perhaps scared about things being pointed out, like I think I would say worry about finding the right person before worrying about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if somebody really cares, they're not going to do that. Like, not obviously everybody's not perfect, but like if that is something that is important to you, you will find somebody who understands that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, simply put, if you're with the right person, they wouldn't be calling out your personal flaws. It would be pointing them out, but only when they think it's necessary because it'll help you grow and become a better person or something like that, right? Otherwise, what's the point of your partner just pointing out your personal flaws for the sake of pissing you off, right?
And you're into that, I guess. I don't know.
I'm sorry, who's into gaslighting? Ooh.
I'm just saying, some
Emotional
people are into
BDSM?
some.
There's
don't know.
There's definitely a word for
Not
it.
me,
I
but
don't know
like-
what it is, but I'm sure in the
I would not know either.
I would assume you'd need a like rock hard will, like, and
iron mental.
yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Cassie's been
Anyways.
We digress.
she's been saying some weird stuff today. We're gonna let that slide.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Yeah, we know what type of stuff she's into. Okay. Anyways,
What?
okay, Cassie.
Super Omnom one? Do
Okay.
not. That's
Oh,
not
no.
true. That
Okay,
is not true.
Guys,
So-
stop it! Guys, stop it!
God, I lost my train of thought now. I had such a nice smooth transition.
Sorry.
Lost in the sauce. It's karma for me killing Cassie's train of thought earlier. Oh yes, it was
What can I say?
tying
What
it
can I
back to
say?
dating during COVID, which I gotta stop. Okay,
Oh yeah, that's
listen,
what we're here for.
I gotta
forgot.
stop saying what the topic is gonna be at the start of the episode, because then I feel pressured to actually talk about it instead of just ranting and then naming the YouTube video whatever the hell I
mean-
want. I did that to myself.
85 South Show. There's gonna be a point in time where you could just come on with
Just
some
going
friends
off track
and
again.
talk.
True.
And just talk.
True. That's the goal. That's the goal. I got it
Like,
though.
I do have one story that
Okay.
I want to mention,
Go.
just because I find it very funny. Okay, so bringing it back to the topic of dating during COVID,
Oh, she's bringing it back. Yes, amazing.
Zaiyou literally did this a second ago. Okay, anyways, so like I actually hung out with my prom date a little bit, and he was the one who asked me to go on to Bumble, and I was like, yeah, we okay, we're chill, we're very chill. It's
Yeah.
very nice. We're chill. Yeah. So I decided to do it because I was like, we're gonna do it for fucks. And having gone onto the app and having been like, okay, no, sorry, wait, let me rephrase.
That's not very COVID friendly.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Wait.
Use protection.
Wait, Hazel,
both
you
ends.
don't
For
want
fun.
you don't want any physical intimacy in the start of your relationship? I went on to Bumble for fucks. Sorry, no. For the hell of it.
Yeah,
Make sure you cover both ends.
Anyways, so I was building my profile.
All the holes.
Come on. Okay, let's follow. Anyways, so I was building
Yeah, you deserve that
my
one.
profile. I was building my profile, okay? And I realized I don't think
Just here for fucks. Submit.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on, you guys. I didn't mean it like that.
Yo, worst co-host in the history of podcasting. Yeah, someone
I
makes
didn't-
one
I
fuck
didn't
up when they
mean it
talk
like
and then just slam her for the next 5 minutes.
Just keep going,
I
Hazel.
didn't mean it like that. Oh.
Please, tell us about your experience on Bumble for fucks. We're all curious.
I can't.
Okay, go. We'll just okay, go. Just go.
Ruined.
Okay, so you're going on Bumble, yes.
Sorry, I can't. Cassidy, you gotta stop laughing. I'm just gonna feed off your energy.
I wasn't even laughing.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so you're going on Bumble,
Okay,
right?
so
And
I
you're-
decided
it's for fun.
I
You guys are
decided-
friends, yes.
I decided to build my profile, and I realized I didn't have any good pictures of myself. And I was like, wait, I never really thought about like what I looked like in pictures and how that would come off to other people. Huh, weird. So I went out, I took a bunch of pictures, and I realized I had spent so much time like trying to put myself into pictures and the little prompts that I was like, I've never done this before, like self-advertising,
Mhm.
like trying to make sure if you saw a picture of me you would understand my vibe right away and without me talking to you, like never, because like everything I did in high school, you knew me, like I was involved in a lot of stuff, you already got my vibe, so I didn't need to do that. So like, yeah, like personal advertising on Bumble is basically what you're doing, and
Yep.
it's like you're trying to apply for like an interview, but for a relation. I was just like, damn, this is actually kind of a lot of work. So I talked to a bunch of people, and oh man, like to see, I ran into the problem of like people who didn't advertise themselves well. Like it would be like a nice cute little picture, nice background, nice lighting, and I'm like, oh, I think I get a sense of who this person is, and you message them and it's not the same. Or it's like you message them online and then you do like a Zoom call with them, with the rare ones that did, and they were not the same, and it was just like, oh man, this is disappointing.
Yeah.
But like
False advertisement.
I made sure, yeah, like I made sure to ask them, like, was I the same as you expected me? Because that was my goal. And they were like, yeah, you're what I expected you to be. And I was like, okay, fantastic. I did my job well. Yeah, I just didn't find the right
And
match.
then you cut them out. It's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, but there was this one person that like I thought in their pictures, very cute, very stylish, in the messaging, very charismatic. I did a Zoom call with them and it was the same thing. I was like, oh, fantastic, fucking let's go, let's get it. And like talking to this person, they were so charming and so nice, but I knew this person was some sort, and I'm gonna use this loosely, but a fuckboy, because like the way that he phrased the following things I'm about to list, when he said it, came off like completely okay, and it was totally fine. And I looked back at it like when I cut him, and I'm like, how did I not notice the signs? So to give some context, I was watching an interview with this one person who was interviewing a psychopath, and same kind of situation. Okay, I'm not saying this person was a psychopath.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just prefacing it for a
making the
completely
metaphor.
unrelated reason.
No, I'm like, when someone is so charming and so charismatic, they can say anything and get you to believe it, is the thing I'm trying to
True.
convey.
I am
So,
a bit
like,
of a psychopath.
Yes, true.
right?
Shut up, Zaiyou.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Okay, so the first thing that he said, or we were talking about like what COVID did to us after high school, and then I said, oh, I gained a little bit of weight. And he was like, oh, yeah? Hold on.
Completely
Wait,
in
wait.
character. Deadpan, no hesitation, no change in tone, just, yeah, what's up?
That is fine. That okay. So, what do you think so far of her story?
I want to hear about the psychopath. I don't have
I
enough
don't say-
details to judge yet. I want the deets on the psychopath.
Hey.
Okay. She's back.
Where was I?
Psychopath.
Okay, so
Psychopath.
okay, so like I said that I gained a little bit of weight, and he was like, "Ooh, don't worry about it. It's gonna be more cushion for later." And I was like, at the moment, he didn't phrase it like that. I was just like, "Yeah."
Oh.
I was like, "Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. I didn't get it at the time. I understood it after."
Rookie
Anyway.
mistake.
Second one. Wait, what was the second one? I want to do this in cascading order. Wait, second one. Anyways, fine. I'll skip to the worst one. So the worst one was when he was like, something. Yeah, I liked it when my girlfriend got depressed because she depended on me more. And like, I phrased
Don't do it.
in a way that was
Go in the other direction. Run, bitch.
what?
I shouldn't be laughing. That's so terrible.
Sorry, it's my mom. Hold on.
All right, now what do
I
you think
liked
about
it
the
when
story?
my girlfriend. Wait, let me. I liked it when my girlfriend was depressed
Yeah,
because she relied on me more.
yeah.
Man's got some stuff he needs to work on,
Ain't nothing
like
about
for himself, man.
it. Just a big
Yeah,
kind
like
of
he-
depression. What can I say?
Yeah,
okay.
all right. Like that's
See, I can't delve into this like without Hazel present, obviously, right? But
yeah.
I think that is he's being honest about one part of his personality
Hi.
and like what he wants, right?
Okay, true.
Hello, we're getting a little lost in the sauce with the last comment.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I realize like this is a little intense for this podcast.
No, it's fine.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just always like every time someone brings up a story, it's like how much do I want to delve into this specific story or argue this specific point, and then like get lost in that. Because I was telling Cassidy like that comment, it is an honest statement of something that he wants in a relationship, which is reliance on him. Obviously not worded in the best way, and it's also a very fucked up take on it because you
Yeah.
did not have to involve mental health into that equation. You could have chosen an infinite number of other reasons that you want your girlfriend to be reliant on you,
Reliant.
if that's what you're
Yeah.
into,
Yeah, it was intense.
and not use the example of them being depressed. But
Or mentioning his ex.
or mentioning his ex.
Yeah.
That is strange.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, but you know, like that is, he wasn't lying. It was a red flag, but he wasn't. You know, he said it and he meant it. Like he's
like
that's what he's looking for. In a
you might not
relationship.
see the all the red flags, but I'll give you one.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's
Like,
Have fun.
to be honest, like, that was the last straw. I was like, oh,
As it should.
okay,
As it should.
okay.
maybe. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna toss a line to all the fuckboys out there and saying that I don't think you should categorize this as fuckboy behavior. I think that's other types of fucked up behavior.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna cut him some slack.
I mean,
Fuckboys.
I'm
anyone
too
who
shook to
says
say
that.
anything.
Yeah.
What? In what world would that have charmed someone? This one? This
Thousands
world?
of words in the English language, and you picked the wrongest combination of all of them.
And you picked depression. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine.
Except him and his ex.
It's fine.
And
Just-
like, think about the layers that I went through. Is the pictures
true.
were fine, messaging
Yeah.
fine, and then
There were also
when
4
you
more
actually met
comments
him in
before
person,
this.
Yeah.
there was a few more comments before this, and then that was like the last one. Yeah, yeah.
Wait, did you start on Bumble during COVID?
Yes.
I wonder. See, I wonder if that actually like makes it more difficult. Cause
I would say so.
yeah,
For
okay,
sure.
yeah,
Just because it's like the first option that I go to if I would want to like date someone online. Honestly, I really don't want to date someone online for the reason being the first impression is a picture or a message.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'd rather it to be like in person.
Yeah.
I see you, I see your vibe. That.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Cause like that experience kind of like changed it a little bit because I was like, I could have just got rid of the messaging for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you could have skipped
seeing of the
that.
picture if I just met him in
You would have
person.
known. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting because basically what we're saying, right, is dating online at any point in time is more difficult in some ways than dating in person, just because you can't get a feel for the person unless you're meeting up, right? So that whole period where you're just texting or just messaging, just calling or something like that, you might not have a great sense for what that person truly is like until you meet up in person. During COVID, that's made even more difficult because obviously you might never have that opportunity, right? Or you might.
I mean, you could.
No, you absolutely could, but like, there's obviously more barriers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an exacerbated issue.
I mean, like,
yeah, go on.
I mean, like, to be fair, I know one of my close friends, like, she met her partners in like online. They're from the US. Like, she didn't have a chance in person. It was only calls, like that. So like, for anyone watching who might be scared to go online, like, I'd say try it just to see for yourself if it's okay with you. But if like, cuz like, you can just test out like what you want to like, or how you want to interact with a person, like how you meet them. It's like you can meet more people with online dating, and
Yeah.
like there's success stories like everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is just my experience, and yeah.
Okay, it took us 55 minutes to get here, but I have an idea for how to tie it together. I've got it.
Okay.
I think it's interesting, very interesting, how dating during COVID online, it exacerbates the previous issue of online dating, previous issues of online dating, in that you don't get to meet the person and get a feel for them in person, right? Because I think we all agree that when you're trying to get into a serious relationship with someone, you're hoping to eventually, the goal is to have an in-person relationship with them, not an online relationship with them for the rest of your life. So really, you need to be learning how to interact with them face to face, right? However, that's been the complete opposite experience for me, because if I'm living with my partner during COVID, we are stuck together at home almost 24/7, and all the whole learning curve of trying to reconcile our differences when it comes to like living habits and stuff like that, and all our habits that we didn't realize we had from our upbringings, our environments, our parents, friends, whatever, that's just been sped up because we spend so much more time together, right? Honestly, if we were both working and going to school, I go to UBC, she goes to SFU, we would be seeing each other significantly less, right? Especially with, let's say, my school schedule. I have all my classes on certain days, so I can have work on the other days, which means I'm obviously not going to be on home like almost any day of the week, right, until the evening or whatever. For her, she's in a program that is very project intensive, and so she has to sometimes stay late nights, would otherwise have to stay late nights on campus to work on those things, right? And a lot of very tiny like abrasions, I would call them, in our like relationship, just very tiny stuff like, oh god, there's like hair on the floor, you're gonna have to vacuum, tiny stuff like that, that would not be an issue until much later in the relationship or in our experience living together, when we've had more time together. But now, because we're literally at home all day every day, and it's been like almost half a year at this point, it's just the process has just been expedited, right? There's very little that I have yet to learn about her living habits and stuff like that. I'm sure there still is, but like I feel like, oh god, in the last 6 months, like I've seen and learned so much about how she like acts as a person when she's alone, when she's at home, when she's comfortable, stuff like that. Very interesting how dating during COVID has like literally the opposite effect at like the two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's true. I think like yeah, even like broadening out a bit, especially like where we are right now, like um socially and like Western society in general, like it's no secret that like horrible things are happening right now, right? Um and we are also like, and also like the age we're all at right now, like I think what Zayu said, like it if you are in a relationship, it really does like speed up things in terms of conversations. That makes sense. Like if you had just gotten into a relationship, like let's say at the beginning of COVID, right? Like that general time, right? Like I think for most of us, like things happening right now have somehow affected us, and we've probably had conversations with people, right? And so like I think like if anything for a lot of people as well, it has helped them um have more serious topics of conversations perhaps. So yeah.
Yeah, that is a very interesting point. COVID has definitely impacted the some of the conversations that you would be having with people. Like, if absolutely nothing else, it's literally the most ubiquitous conversation starter in today's day and age, as in 2020 to 2021, right? Haha, how's quarantine been going? Yeah, you living with your parents? You out by yourself? How do you spend your weekends? You into Netflixing by yourself, or playing puzzles? Like it's just one shared experience that like anyone can relate to and talk about.
Yeah.
Good point.
Or like it's hard not to have an opinion either.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
It's not like you can avoid
like being
it.
scared. Yeah, and like being scared and not really knowing, or like knowing that you don't know enough, that is still a reaction
Yeah.
to something, right? So I think just like we live in such an interesting time right now. And it's just like I think we are, I don't know, at the cusp of maybe disaster. No, like you want to think about it that way.
Yeah, we're gonna be in the history books.
Uh,
Probably for something bad,
Ooh.
but
Yep.
Yeah.
all right. Hazel's been oddly quiet and not rambunctious in the last 5 or so minutes, and I'm getting suspicious. So
Sorry, no, because like I've been like hearing. I can't really hear that well. because like I don't know why the sound is like cutting off. I hear a little bit, but I didn't want to interrupt. So
Okay. All right. Give us our last topic to wrap it up for this discussion. We can continue on with a lot of the other topics that we did not get to, as per usual, that you want to talk about. But give us the closer. What are we gonna? What's the last thing we're gonna comment on really quickly between the three of us?
okay.
I like the
Is that too spicy? That might be too spicy.
True.
looks good. Complements the skin color.
I can't hear.
You can hear it when you watch the whole episode.
Oh yeah,
yes.
you'll hear it.
Damn it. All right. Hold on. I gotta think. I can't think of anything right now. You put me on the spot, dude.
Yeah, I do. I've really been bullying her. We really
Oh wait.
have been
Okay, I
bullying
have
her.
one.
I know.
Huh?
You'll
I have
hear it.
one.
You'll hear it later. Okay, go.
Damn it, guys. All right. Well, all right. When, if we're gonna talk about dating, is no, is this okay? Fine. When is the right time to have sex?
Ah,
No way. That's a closing.
I feel like that's a topic everyone like thinks
Yeah.
about. Sorry?
No way. That's a closing topic. God, we need like 2 hours for this one.
Okay,
2.5.
fine. Let's do something else then.
No, I gave her the power and she chose. Let's talk about it. However long it takes.
okay. I go first. Very quick statement. Depends on you and you alone.
Well,
Nice.
and your partner.
Well, yeah, but like they should respect.
No,
they
but
should
that's what I mean,
respect
'cause
whatever
Wait,
you
you don't
want.
hey,
know who
So-
has
hey.
like stricter boundaries, so like depends on
That's true. That's true.
you and your partner.
Okay, never mind. Maybe I
Yeah,
take that
like-
back. What I'm trying to say is, don't feel pressured to do it, or you shouldn't be feeling pressured. Yeah.
Mm.
I hope Super Omnom 1 is over
Yeah, it's
18.
kind of yeah.
Okay. Hazel, give us your views.
Um. Yeah, I can't. It's the same as Cass. It's like I want to put like a strict time that I would do it.
Mm.
A friend of mine did that in the past, and I'm like, I think that's a good method because it's like,
Really?
and it has to be long enough where you can like vibe check the person,
Sure.
like and stuff like that. So yeah, I would set like a certain amount of months.
Ooh, you're thinking
And then
like
I'd
within
be
the
like,
relationship.
then I would think about thinking about it. Does that make sense?
Oh, within each
Mm.
relationship?
My first one,
Okay.
Right.
where
right,
I'm
right.
thinking of like,
Yeah.
because I feel like if I've already done it before,
Sure.
then
it's a
my
little different.
standards might
Yeah.
change a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So measuring in a more logistical way.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I would do like, let's say, I don't know, like this is subject to change, but like 4 months, and then I'll think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's like I want to give ample time to like really get to know this person well.
Yeah. Well, okay, like this is such an interesting discussion because we could cut it right here and just be like, well, it's up to you and your partner, so that's it. That's all. Like that. I mean, that really is the be all end all, right? Like it's whatever you're comfortable.
Yeah.
But obviously to talk about it a little bit more, give a little bit more interesting discussion for the people actually listening to this. I think there's always God, it's such an interesting topic because you have people who will go really hard on, okay, you know what, I think you should, when the time is right, don't be pressured to do it. Take as long as you need, whenever you're comfortable. And I would agree absolutely with that, except there's a lot of people who don't see it as something that is a big
Deal.
deal.
For
Yeah,
sure.
big deal,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
a big checkpoint, right? So for them, it's not that they're necessarily not respecting like boundaries or they're pressuring their like partner into it. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I thought this is just like what you do in the relationship, right? Tons of people fuck on the first date, and it's like, if that's their experience with partners in the past, then maybe they don't see it as like being too like, I don't want to say pushy, because obviously we're taking consent as like it has to be present. We're not discussing situations where you're actually pressuring someone into it, right? But if someone's being too pushy, so to speak, with initiating, it could completely be their experiences with like, oh, I thought this was just normal, and like people were okay with doing this far into the relationship. And very often it's difficult for people on both sides to kind of realize or think about what it's like being from the other side, right? A lot of people who are not really comfortable with physical intimacy or sex, if you're dating someone who's been around, good for them, it's very difficult to strike a balance, right?
I
So
mean, I
perhaps
feel like something like this would. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, just perhaps the answer is after you've had this conversation.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like something like this would have to be like established from very early on.
Yeah.
Because to go off of what Zaiyou said, it's like someone might be very comfortable with physical intimacy, someone might not be, and to have that conversation would be establishing those boundaries in that relationship, and I think that's just fair to do that early. Like, a question you can ask is like, are you more American movies dating, where it's like fucking on the first date, or are you more Korean drama, 14 episodes hand-holding kind of dating? You see what I'm saying? So
the season finale
like
you kiss on the
is a
season
kiss
finale.
on the cheek. Yes. Yes.
Are you maid-sama like level? Okay.
That's good.
I think it's like, it definitely depends, because like the opinion on sex that people could have is like, it's a huge spectrum.
Yeah, it really is.
You know what I mean?
Really
It's like
it could literally
somebody,
be like, no, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, it could be like no sex before marriage, or like who gives a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
really, that's
just how it goes, right?
Yeah,
so it's like,
ends.
so it's like I don't see why it would be a problem to ever talk about that if you know.
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't
And
be.
and if it is a problem, then it's like, this ain't it, Yeah.
Okay, I'm so good at just coming up with how to wrap these up. Like, the moderating skills.
Hey,
really just
I came up
come
with
in
this
together.
idea.
No, okay.
bitch.
So I really like. I say this literally every episode. I like where we ended up, because somehow we've directed it to this endpoint. But the question of like, when should you have sex in a relationship? That's packed. There's a lot of influencing factors in that one, right? But I think that what you asked is actually an extension of what we already talked about with like setting boundaries when it comes to physical intimacy and stuff like that, right? And really, the answer that we all have and agree to when it comes to that is simply whatever both parties are comfortable with. Please have that conversation so it's not left up in the air, right? Because from already we've known from Hazel's personal experiences, if that can be a what's the word I'm looking for, like a deal breaker, I guess, right? Not wanting to be physically intimate or not wanting to be physically intimate, but a difference in the views of both parties and the needs and wants of both parties, right? So I absolutely agree that it should be a conversation that's a little bit more normalized, especially considering a lot of immature, like high school, younger relationships where people lack the maturity to discuss serious topics like that. It's seen as like taboo to discuss, to talk about, because it's like, oh, you're ruining the atmosphere, right? Like you're putting feelings into words, and like you should just, whenever you decide you're comfortable, start hand holding or kissing or having sex or whatever. But it's just a lot easier to just have a conversation about it, and that way you don't make anyone uncomfortable. And if you know that your differences are too great, then you're maybe not incompatible physically or at that point in either of your lives, you're not.
And I
How's
think
that?
like in general, yeah, my closing thoughts. Like in general, you should never feel scared to talk about it. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yep.
Like I feel like
Mhm.
it's you're with maybe not necessarily the right person, but you're with a good person if you can talk about these things comfortably.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I concur.
So it's
Ooh,
like yeah,
on an off
yeah, no.
topic,
Yeah.
I think the reason why I'm quiet when you both are talking is because like I'm watching the podcast live and it's amazing. I'm sorry, continue. You were closing.
Super Omnom 1 has competition for that number one fan spot. I tossed my girlfriend in that conversation too. You guys can have a battle royale, the three of you. Hazel, my girlfriend, and Super Omnom 1. Duke it out.
Hey, you know what we should do? After the 20th episode of Super Omnom 1's face reveal, have all three of them come on and they just duke it out.
Dude, I don't know
And
who
then I'll
Super
hold the
Omnom
I'll
1
hold the
is.
Turns out it's me.
Yeah, no. So when we find out, I'll hold the scores, you'll be the referee, and then we'll just watch.
It's
That'd be so funny.
Thanks for coming to the show, to our longest episode yet.
100 subscriber treat.
Please subscribe so we can reveal our super secret fan, Super Omnom 1, who's gotten like 14 shoutouts in this episode. This one's for you. I'm gonna cut
Thanks.
it so I can go pee.
Thanks, person.
Thank you, Super Omnom 1.